The WNBA All-Star Draft was fun between Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier, the team captains, picking the players, picking the rosters. But the most interesting aspect was the coach swap, because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team, to Collier for Sandy Brondello, the coach of the New York Liberty.
The WNBA All-Star Game just got a lot more interesting, and not because of flashy dunks or buzzer beaters. It all started with the All-Star Draft, where team captains Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier took turns building their rosters. But while the basketball world watched for player picks, Caitlin Clark made a move that nobody saw coming. She traded her coach.
Caitlin Clark just made the funniest All-Star selections ever. She just picked her friends. She made sure she picked no ops, as people like to call them. She made sure there were no ops on her team. If she's played with a player before, like Sonia Citron, she picked her. Gabby Williams, she picked nobody that's tweeted a negative thing about her. She's picked nobody that has said a negative thing about her in the media. She picked none of her rivals.
Yes, you heard that right. Clark orchestrated a live, public swap, sending Cheryl Reeve, the Minnesota Lynx coach who was originally set to lead her All-Star team, straight into the hands of her opponent. In return, Clark took on Sandy Brondello, the head coach of the New York Liberty. It wasn't just a coaching trade, it was a statement. A quiet, calculated move of pure revenge.
Yo, this is the first time I've ever seen this, man. The first time out of all the times I've seen where two star players are picking up players. They ask for a trade, or the median person asks for a trade, and they're talking about trading the coach.
You see, this wasn't about X's and O's. It was personal. Cheryl Reeve had spent months subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, undermining Caitlin Clark. Passive-aggressive tweets, dismissive comments in interviews, and most notably, Reeve played a major role in Clark's controversial Olympic snub. While the rest of the world was watching Clark shatter records and electrify audiences, Reeve was busy reminding everyone that—
With you here, Caitlin, you said you might be aggressive on the trade market once this opened up. Is there any player that you're looking to get to? And remember, it has to be apples to apples trade here. Starter for starter, reserve for reserve. The good news is you can't go wrong with this type of talent. Anyone looking to make a deal here?
To be completely honest, I love my team. I think they're great. I don't have any intentions of really trading any of them. I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. But I think we've already discussed we are going to trade coaches. He's going to take her coach, Sandy Brondello.
The WNBA is more than one player. That might be true, but that one player just happened to be rewriting the future of the sport. And Caitlin Clark never forgot. So when the All-Star Draft rolled around, Clark wasn't just selecting teammates. She was selecting loyalty. She picked her friends.
Clark was supposed to be coached by Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve. Nafisa Collier was supposed to be coached by New York Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello. They swapped coaches. Cheryl Reeve, dodged the bullet. Thank God I don't need to coach Caitlin Clark, man. Man, I can't deal with that. I would have had to swallow so much pride, I can't do that. Fee, she probably called him the Fee, talk to Caitlin, please. I can't coach her, I can't do it. This book's about to come out. You know what they're going to be saying if I'm coaching Caitlin Clark and the book's out? Oh, God. Fee, please.
She avoided anyone who had slighted her in the media, on Twitter, or behind closed doors. No rivals. No negativity. Just a clean slate of players she trusted, and a coach who hadn't tried to sabotage her career. Sandy Brondello, by contrast, was a welcome change. Brondello had just led the Liberty to back-to-back WNBA finals. She's respected, seasoned, and focused on winning, not politics. The reaction? Priceless. Brondello—
Of course, Reeve is Collier's head coach for the Minnesota Lynx, so that makes sense. But the drama is going to come from Reeve having previously been critical on social media about the amount of attention Clark received relative to the rest of the league, not to mention being the coach of Team USA that Caitlin Clark was so famously snubbed from.
His teenage son even texted her, "Mom, you got traded." She laughed. She leaned in. She embraced the fun and the opportunity. Meanwhile, Reeve had to sit back and accept the reality. She'd been publicly rejected by the league's biggest rising star. On live TV. In front of millions. You could almost hear the pride cracking. And if there was any doubt left that Clark meant business, just look at the roster she assembled. This wasn't just an all-star team, it was a super team. Caitlin Clark at the point. Sabrina Ionescu at the 2. Satu Sabali at the 3. Aya Wilson, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Jackie Young, Gabby Williams, all on board. Every pick was strategic. Every move was precise. Clark wasn't just trying to win a game. She was building a new culture, one based on performance, loyalty, and mutual respect.
Brondello was like, oh yeah, this is good. This is good. This is good. So wait, Caitlin Clark had Chrissy Sides, who never let her. Okay. Now she's got Stephanie White, who wants to do off ball. Oh, okay. And now Sadie Brondello's like, wait, oh, I could show Caitlin what she's been missing this whole entire. I can set up an offense like, oh, here comes recruitment year of 2028.
And perhaps most importantly, no drama. Gone were the days of letting the league's politics dictate her path. Clark took back control, and she did it with poise, power, and a little bit of petty. The good kind. Cheryl Reeve thought she could control the narrative. Instead, she watched it get rewritten, by a 22-year-old who just might be the future of women's basketball. Call it karma. Call it strategy. Call it a masterclass in quiet revenge. But whatever you call it, don't call Caitlin Clark soft. Not anymore. In a league full of egos, power struggles, and long-standing traditions, Caitlin Clark has quietly, and now very publicly, taken control of her own narrative.
Caitlin Clark actually has a complete roster to start her team. She's got Caitlin Clark at the 1, Sabrina Ionescu at the 2, Satu Sabali at the 3. She must have heard the chatter in the offseason of fans saying, let's get Satu Sabali. I'm just saying, she might have heard a thing or two. We got AB at the 4 and Asia Wilson at the 5. Starters for starters, this should be a victory. I know it's the All-Star.
During the All-Star selection, Clark made a move that said more than words ever could. She used her first overall pick to select her Indiana Fever teammate, Aaliyah Boston. That choice wasn't just about talent, it was about loyalty. It was about sending a message, I take care of the people who take care of me. She didn't stop there. With her first reserve pick, Clark grabbed Kelsey Mitchell, ensuring the Fever's explosive backcourt remained intact for the All-Star game. Her strategy was deliberate and sharp. She surrounded herself with players who not only excel individually, like three-time MVP Aya Wilson and three-point sharpshooter Sabrina Ionescu, but who understand team chemistry. Versatile forward Satu Sabali brought international experience, and Gabby Williams added relentless hustle and defense. The roster wasn't just stacked with talent. It was built to win, a team forged in loyalty, competitiveness, and purpose. But the real story wasn't just the players she picked, it was the coach she didn't. For months, Cheryl Reeve, a veteran...
The players was a lot of fun, and Caitlin Clark also wound up with all of the Fever members on her squad as well, meaning Aaliyah Boston, Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell will be a trio in Indianapolis for All-Star. So that's the way it went down. Here are the teams. You can see Caitlin Clark celebrating what she was able to accomplish here. That's her squad. Clark, Boston, Ionescu, Wilson, Sabali, Mitchell, Gabby Williams. I love Gabby Williams. What a player. Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafen, Jackie Young, Thornton, Kayla Thornton from the Valkyries. So Clark should have a very fast team.
Coach with multiple titles to her name had made subtle jabs at Clark's presence in the league. Whether through dismissive comments or lukewarm support, her posture was clear. She didn't believe in Clark's impact. And Clark noticed. When given the chance, Clark quietly yet decisively removed Reeve from the picture. She orchestrated a trade, not of players, but of coaches. Reeve, expecting to ride Clark's rising star into the All-Star spotlight, was instead shipped to the opposing team. In her place, Clark secured Sandy Brondello, a coach known for nurturing elite talent and leading teams to championships. It was a masterclass in leadership. Clark didn't throw public shade. She didn't go on social media rants. She did what leaders do, she found a better solution and executed it without fanfare. That one move sent shockwaves through the league. It wasn't just about basketball. It was about power, respect, boundaries. A young player, in just her second season, stood up to the old guard and said, enough. She's done with the politics. Done with the jealousy. Done with the subtle sabotage and the referees who seemed to see her through a different lens. This all-star roster, and the coaching shakeup that came with it, is her line in the sand. Clark's team is more than an all-star squad. It's a blueprint. It's the
now as Gangster Clark heard Cheryl crusted blueberry muffin ass Reed being salty in that press conference, throwing shade at the Fever and said, nope, get her punk ass up out of here. She ain't about to coach my team for the All-Star Game, and that's why I call her Gangster Clark, because whatever Gangster Clark wants, Gangster Clark gets.
Kind of lineup that could rival any in WNBA history. Clark runs the point with unmatched vision and leadership. Ionescu adds elite shooting and high IQ play. Aya Wilson anchors the post with strength and experience. Sabauli brings versatility. And Boston holds down the paint with dominance and grace. Off the bench, Mitchell delivers clutch shooting. Jackie Young brings veteran poise. Gabby Williams gives relentless defense. Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafan, and others fill out a roster that's fast, skilled, and built for war. But the most beautiful part of all this? It's not just about the players. It's about the shift. Caitlin Clark is no longer the rookie being pushed around. She's not the viral sensation simply grateful to be here. She's taken ownership of her place in the league. She's leading not just on the court, but behind the scenes, crafting her own future, protecting her own interests, and standing firm in the face of everything stacked against her.
Bruh, tell me y'all just saw Caitlin Clark destroy Cheryl Reeves on national TV. I know y'all saw free smoke, ayy, free smoke, ayy, free smoke, ayy, free smoke. Bruh, Caitlin Clark want all the smoke. Caitlin Clark want all the smoke, bruh. Bruh, she just annihilated Cheryl Reeve on national television. I didn't see that coming. They asked Caitlin Clark, hey, Caitlin, are there any player trades you like to make? Nah, I'm kind of set with my team, but I would like to trade coach.
She didn't need to shout. She didn't need to retaliate with drama. She just made one quiet, calculated move, and the league is still feeling the aftershocks. Professionalism don't mean you have to accept disrespect forever. Clark finally reached her breaking point with Reeves. Toxicity, and she handled it like the boss she is. No drama, no public feuds, just a clean, surgical move that removed a negative influence from her basketball environment. You can bet Reeve is fuming right now. She thought she had Clark in a position where she'd have to accept her as coach, probably planning to use the All-Star Game as some kind of reconciliation opportunity. Instead, Clark showed her exactly what she thinks of coaches who spend their time undermining the league's biggest stars. I don't know what's gotten into Caitlin Clark. You are leaning into this bad guy role. I love it. I don't know what's gotten into you, Caitlin Clark.
When you look at it, I mean, Williams is really fast for a forward. Obviously, Kelsey's very fast. Citron's very fast. Jackie Young's one of my favorite players. Iriafin, a rookie, can get up and down the floor. Ionescu can help spread the floor along with Kelsey and Clark so they can really shoot. Caitlin made sure to get some size. She actually passed up on Paige Beckers to take Sabauli, and she took Asia Wilson with her third pick. If Asia had fallen any further down the board.
But you've been on some I don't give a F lately. I love it. Oh my god. I cannot believe she just eviscerated and embarrassed Cheryl Ree on national TV. Like that. They said, hey, would you like to make a player trade? And better yet, I'll do you one better. Get this coach up out of here. Hey, Kayla Clark ain't playing. Bro. The woman who tweeted about the league being more than one player, while Clark was single-handedly carrying the WNBA to new heights, just got a reality check. The player she tried to diminish and control just proved she has more power and influence than any coach in the league. This trade represents everything Clark stands for: excellence, accountability, and winning. She's not interested in playing politics or maintaining fake relationships with people who don't support her success. She wants to be surrounded by—
I don't know what's gotten into Caitlin Clark. You are leaning into this bad guy role. I love it. I don't know what's gotten into you, Caitlin Clark, but you've been on some I don't give a F lately. I love it. Oh my God. I cannot believe she just eviscerated and embarrassed Cheryl Reeve on national TV like that. They said, hey, would you like to make a player trade? It's better yet, I'll do you one better. Get this fucking coach up out of here. Hey, Caitlin Clark ain't playing.
Champions who understand what it takes to win at the highest level. Sandy Brondello represents exactly that kind of championship culture. She's a coach who has proven she can handle pressure, manage elite talent, and create systems that maximize team potential. Clark knew exactly what she was doing when she made this trade. She was choosing excellence over toxicity, winning over politics, and respect over fake relationships. Sorry WNBA if that's not in the rule. Sorry ESPN if that's not in the rules. But we just made it a rule. So Sandy Brunello, come on over. Let's get to it. You can coach Sabrina. So therefore, maybe Stewie wants to come on over to my team. Let me know. Fee, you want to give me Stewie? We have breaking.
Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rule. Sorry, ESPN, if that's not in the rules, but we just made it a rule.
Now.
So, Sandy Brondello, come on over.
Whoa!
Let's get to it. You can coach Sabrina. So, therefore, maybe Stewie wants to come on over to my team.
Whoa!
Let me know. Fee, you want to give me Stewie?
We have breaking news here. I don't know that I've heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star game. This is something you're agreeing to, Fee. There's no terms to this deal.
I agree with Cheryl. I agree with the trade. I love Cheryl. She's my coach here. And you know what? That's just going to be worse for Team Clark because now we got more chemistry on our side. We got more synergy. We know what we expect from each other. So that was a bad move on your part, Kayla, and we're taking you down.
News here. I don't know that I've heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star game. This is something you're agreeing to, Fee. There's no terms to this deal. I agree with Cheryl. I agree with the trade. I love Cheryl. She's my coach here. And you know what? That's just going to be worse for Team Clark because now we got more chemistry on our side. We got more synergy. We know what we expect from each other. So, that was a bad move on your part, Kaylin. We're taking you down. The All-Star game on July 19th is going to be epic. Clark's team is loaded with talent, coached by a champion, and motivated by the perfect combination of individual excellence and team chemistry. They're not just playing to win. They're playing to prove that Clark's vision for basketball excellence is the right one. Meanwhile, Reeve gets to watch from the other sideline.